I believe that it is something that changes the dynamic between the countries because the stakes change for the countries that have either discovered hydrocarbons or are nearby where hydrocarbons have been found. It exacerbates potentially some of the other conflicts or points of contention between these states, like maritime boundaries, for example, but it also provides some opportunities that will make countries more interested and excited in being proactive about changing their circumstance, both economically and geostrategically. And by that, chances are some of the dynamics in the region will change, and out of this could come some degree of controversy and conflict. Well, I think there is the potential for the private sector to play a role. Some of the countries in this region that are potentially getting access to resources don't have a lot in terms of economic resources available for them to develop the capacity to find, extract, and sell these hydrocarbons. But also they have limited capacity in terms of bringing security to both the offshore facilities and the onshore facilities that will be developed. Some of the countries in the region have not had to protect their maritime infrastructure before. And that can be a fairly complicated task, and it involves skills and capabilities that are going to be difficult to develop quickly. And so partnerships with the private sector and coordination and cooperation with the private sector will hopefully ease that transition and expansion of capacity to protect what is now very valuable. There are a couple of areas where there could be some inspiration. In the Persian Gulf region, there's been obviously a great deal of emphasis on developing the capacity to protect maritime infrastructure, to protect and secure the transit of commercial carriers that are coming in and out of the region. And so there are some lessons learned in terms of the tactics, the technology, and the value of international cooperation, because what we see in the Gulf is the countries of the GCC working with, that's the Gulf Cooperation Council, the oil countries in the region, and Western powers. The British and the US Navy are there, the French Navy is there. So combined approaches to maritime security and safety are valuable lessons that can be learned from there. But also what can be learned from there is it's very expensive and it takes a long time to develop those capacities. So partnership and working together with more experienced countries is potentially valuable. I think there are also some lessons, both positive and negative, to be learned from West Africa. In West Africa, countries there have really struggled to figure out how to bring security to both ashore and offshore infrastructure. And despite having some resources at their disposal, have struggled to develop a capacity that can really bring security to their infrastructure. On the other hand, there has been an unprecedented and dramatic increase in sub-regional cooperation. The states of the region coming together, recognizing their security challenges, and finding ways to work together. And that's been largely facilitated by the United States and Western European countries who recognize this problem, recognize the limits of capacity to bring security from the indigenous countries' security forces. And so there's been a cooperative and collaborative effort on the diplomatic side and on the security side that are a positive lesson. But there surely are many challenges for West Africa, and I wouldn't hope that Cyprus and Israel would have to face some of the most challenging of those.